despite many resolutions adopted by United Nations, despite this recent Doha declaration, despite International Court of Justice, now Israel is on the last decisive offensive against Gaza Valley. What options Arab world has about Gaza now?
Despite the fact there is no Hamas, the Israelis are not fighting Hamas. They are fighting, they are eliminating the unarmed civilians, those who are unarmed. They have nothing to do with the conflict. And the United Nations call it genocide. The international human rights bodies call it genocide. There are no legal options left. There are no moral options left. There are no options in the international law which are left for the people of Gaza or for the Palestinians. Frankly, even the international order is crumbling.
What is the future of this peace talks on Gaza now?
Looking at the position of the people of Gaza and looking at the situation of the Hamas, I think that it doesn't suit Israel to have talks with them, because if they go for talks with them, that is mean that they will come back with some more strength, with more power, with more legitimacy of international system, and they will strike back Israel again. This is what Israel is thinking.
Do you think this particularly mainstream Arab states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Pakistan, along with other countries, will be able to create anti-Israel front? Is it possible?
I don't think so. This is possible, and I think don't think so. This is on the cards. The Muslims cannot have a joint defense. We are not. We are not one. We are not a country. We are not one nation. We are separate countries. There are different kind of sovereignty issues of sovereignty, and I think this is not. There's no possibility of that.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, focus is again on Israeli aggression in the Middle East. After a massive attack on peace negotiations, which was being attended by top Hamas leaders in Doha, so that peace negotiations were targeted by Israel, and that resulted into some of the killings, but top Hamas leaders remained safe. But most alarming news today is that Israel has carried out almost 50 airstrikes at different locations in Gaza Valley. And along with the airstrikes, Israel has almost started the ground offensive in Gaza. And the plan is to occupy this Gaza Valley. This is an alarming situation. In this extraordinary situation, where United Nations General Assembly would be starting soon, next week, what options Arab world has about Gaza? Because ground offensive, there will be large number of killings, and already large number of Palestinians have been killed in last 24 hours. On the other hand, in Doha, Arab and OIC joint meeting took place. They issue also a communique, and in communique they strongly condemned the Israeli aggression. And today, another important development is Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shahbaz Sharif, is in Riyadh, Saudi capital, and is meeting the Saudi Crown Prince. This is quite significant. Within 3 days, this is second meeting between Prime Minister of Pakistan and Saudi Crown Prince. On Monday, Prime Minister of Pakistan, flanked by Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Asim Munir, held meeting with top leaders who were attending the meeting in Doha, including Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. There was also a meeting between Prime Minister of Pakistan and Iranian president, which was also attended by Pakistan's army chief. In this situation, what Pakistan can offer to the Arab world is Pakistan is offering its security. Another important thing is Pakistan has hinted at joining an anti-Israel coalition or a front. In this situation where Israel, through United States of America, has strong influence on Middle Eastern country, is this type of front, making a front is possible? And second, that is it possible that the Muslim world may think, Arab world may think at forming a new security alliance? To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us senior international affairs expert, analyst, Dr. Qamar Cheema. Very warm welcome to program Insight in V News English, Dr. Cheema sir.
Thank you very much, Mateen Saab. It's great to be on show.
Pleasure. So, as the latest alarming and very painful development is that ground offensive by Israeli security forces have already begun in Gaza Valley. How you see where this situation is heading, despite many calls, despite many resolutions adopted by United Nations, despite this recent Doha declaration, despite International Court of Justice, now Israel is on the last decisive offensive against Gaza Valley. What options Arab world has about Gaza now?
Well, Mateen Saab, frankly speaking, I think the war doesn't have any kind of options. It all depends on Israel how it wants to end the war and what kind of what kind of outcomes basically the Israeli government wants to achieve out of that. So, for instance, if the 57 governments from across the Muslim world were sitting in Doha and talking about the future of the region and how Muslim world needs to respond. At the same time, the Marco Rubio was in Tel Aviv to give a message that the United States boldly and strongly stand behind Israel. Coming to this point that despite the fact there is no Hamas, the Israelis are not fighting Hamas. They are fighting. They are eliminating the unarmed civilians, those
Civilian.
who are unarmed. They have nothing to do with the conflict. And the United Nations call it genocide. The international human rights bodies call it genocide. The international community, all the great powers, now they call that this is not about fighting Hamas. This is about targeting the unarmed civilians who are facing the wrath of Israeli government. And I think they are moving towards, the Israeli government is moving towards ethnic cleansing. And the recent perspective that came that we need to send the people from Gaza to other places or to other countries. So there is a probability that, okay, if we cannot do this, then at least the space for the people of Gaza must shrink. So it seems that there are no legal options left. There are no moral options left. There are no options in the international law which are left for the people of Gaza or for the Palestinians. Frankly, even the international order is crumbling. Even the global rules-based international order, which normally the West tells and West tries to educate the international audience that that's where you need to follow, that's what you need to do. Even that is not in a position to tell the Israel that what should be done for the people of Israel. So it all depends on Prime Minister Netanyahu and his hawkish right-wing government, which is hell bent to get outcomes which Israel wants.
So, at this time, two more Security Council permanent members, France and United Kingdom, are strongly supporting now Palestinian cause. And they're calling upon United Nations that Palestine must be given full membership, and both countries are about to recognize. So both countries are strong American allies as well. How you see this sudden support from United Kingdom and France, and then several other European countries. Of course, European countries used to be a traditional supporter and ally of United States of America, but now the America and Israel both are losing support in Europe as far as this Palestine question is concerned. So, a number of European countries have already hinted at recognizing. Some of them have already recognized. How you see this shift in policy in Europe, France, United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Italy, and a number of other countries. So, do you think this will again lead to building up of some significant diplomatic pressure against Israel?
Well, frankly speaking, Mateen Saab, I think the international community and particularly the countries you mentioned, they do understand that the erosion of international law and the erosion of the rules-based international order, they have seen that. And so they believe that the only way they can compensate the Palestinians and the only way they can grab the international audience or the only way they can come up with their moral argument, that is to recognizing the Palestine. There is nothing other than that which I see, because I think if the Palestinians are going to get statehood, they are going to get the statehood in a very difficult way, where they have where they are facing a genocide. It's not just they are being eliminated or they are being targeted by the guns. They have to go through famines. They have to go through starvation. So I think this is a sort of a compensation where all these countries are giving because at the end of the day, the students in these in these countries and the rights group in these countries, they're asking questions to this government, that why are you teaching us international law, and what kind of rules-based international order you keep telling us when you are not protecting all these unarmed civilians who are facing the wrath of the Israeli forces.
So, do you think at this moment, after bombing the Hamas negotiation team in Doha, the message was quite clear that Israel wanted to eliminate Hamas, no more talks. In this background, when Israel doesn't want talks and wanted to kill them, so do you think they would be what would be the future of peace talks now? Because
Well,
it was
frankly,
earlier Qatar which was mediating on Gaza. And after that, now this peace process has been suspended, talks have been suspended. So, any possibility of revival of this? What is the future of this peace talks on Gaza now?
well, frankly speaking, looking at the position of the people of Gaza and looking at the situation of the Hamas, I think that it doesn't suit Israel to have talks with them, because if they go for talks with them, that is mean that they will come back with some more strength, with more power, with more legitimacy of international system, and they will strike
Mm,
back Israel again. This is what Israel is thinking. One.
mm,
The second most important thing is that they believe that this peace process or these conversations, this is facade. This is not
mm,
something which Israel believes that they want to achieve an outcome. So I think what is basically what they want to get out of this attack on Qatar. First, I think there is a message for Qatar and for the other Arab countries that you need to recognize Israel. So if you do not do it in Abraham Accord 2.0, we can use force even to get you into that direction. So using force is basically another way to give an idea or to give an impression that recognizing Israel is important for you.
mm,
Otherwise, these all all shine and all these the wealth you have, it may not be the same. So the Abraham Accord 1.0 was peaceful, and it seems that the
mm,
Abraham Accord 2.0 could be more catastrophic. So secondly, I think they have
mm,
realized that these Arabs, they cannot respond. And third, they have realized that when President Trump was in the region, he realized that they have a lot of money. So extract more money out of them, get more money out of all these countries. And that is why Marco Rubio was in Qatar, and he's going to sign a defense agreement with the Qatar. So mint more money, enjoy their insecurity, and get more, defense, sell them more defense equipment, send more forces there, make them that you are the one who is more important for them, for us. And remember, I think there was a rare condemnation from the UN Security Council, which normally doesn't happen. So I think even there was an attack. But at the end of the day, the United States has somehow been able enough to win the confidence of all these Arab countries that, look, we condemn Israel, which we never condemn from this platform of the UN Security Council. So I think the Americans will have more incentives after this attack. The Americans will be in a more in a better position to negotiate more on security with all these countries.
Dr. Qamar Cheema Sahab, you keep a strong eye and you have definitely a quite solid knowledge that Qatar has very strong defense. It has some of the latest fighter jets, air defense system. The entire defense system of Qatar is provided by United States of America. So, what do you think? Why its air defense system did not respond the moment Israeli fighter jets came? Was a deliberate silence, or it was a security breach?
I think at times there are countries which they believe they are in peacetime, and they don't they may
Retaliate?
not realize that we need to activate or we need to look at this from perspective.
Mhm.
And secondly, knowing that the American forces are in Qatar, so the Israel will not go for this. Third, if you remember when the Iranians attacked the Qatari in Qatar, the American bases, so the message was clear. That they were told in advance that we are doing those. So I think they were in peacetime and they may not have realized this is going to happen. And obviously, sometimes this is matter of seconds. But at the same time, the Qatar is not as alert as Israel is alert. And Qatar doesn't have as enemies as Israel has. So that is the reason that the Israeli air defense systems are more they are preemptive and they gauge the threat as compared to the Qatar. So I think that is one reason. And secondly, obviously, there are theories that uh, uh, there are conspiracy theories that yes, it was not something which the Qataris could defend because the Americans didn't want to defend them. So I think this is also the situation.
In the backdrop of this Monday meeting that took place in Doha, that was Arab OIC joint meeting, there was an understanding among all leaders that let's create an anti-Israel front. So Pakistan also hinted at creation of this anti-Israel front. Do you think, keeping in view whatever you have shared, strong Israeli influence, Abraham Accord 2, American influence, presence of Secretary Rubio in Qatar, despite these all things, do you think this particularly mainstream Arab states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Pakistan, along with other countries, will be able to create anti-Israel front? Is it possible?
I don't think so. This is possible, and I think don't think so. This is on the cards. Remember, normally when we talk, we give example of any kind of a Western defense agreement. The reason behind is that these countries are democracies. Remember, all these 57 countries, those which are part of the OIC, there are 57 political systems in these countries. So it's not
Very,
just
very
we just
right.
cannot. We just cannot come together to defend each other. How will we defend each other on the basis of? And frankly speaking, there is a defense agreement within the GCC. If you remember that in December 2000, there was a defense agreement between the GCC that if one country is attacked, all other countries will be attacked. And
Exactly.
secondly, what has the UAE done in this? The UAE recognizes
Mm.
Israel. What have the countries which they need to come forward? For example, like if you remember, these countries which signed the Abraham Accord, they should have given more strong statement, and they should
Mm.
have been supporting and siding with Qatar. They didn't stand with Qatar even. So expecting all the other 57 countries to expect, I think that's not the case. And right after when President Trump as media team communicated that this will not happen again, the president told the Emir of Qatar, this will not happen again. Right after a few hours, the Netanyahu again said that we will attack you again. So I think uh, it depends that these Arab nations are not going to, they are not ready for this kind of a joint defense. If you let me give you an example of the Islamic Military Alliance where General Rahil Sharif was
Exactly.
went there,
Couple of
and that
years
was
back, this alliance was
yeah,
created.
so it was about targeting the Islamic State and Al Qaeda. But what result
Mm.
this has brought? Where does this stand? And was the leadership of the Islamic Military Alliance invited at this Doha summit
Mm.
or not? These are certain questions, and I think the impression is very clear. And that impression is that the Muslims cannot have a joint defense. We are not one. We are not a country. We are not one nation. We are separate countries. There are different kind of sovereignty issues of sovereignty, and I think this is not. There's no possibility of that.
So within 3 days, second meeting between Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Saudi Crown Prince, very influential in the entire Middle East, all political strategic matters. What do you think? So what Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are discussing, Monday they have already met in Doha and today they are meeting in Riyadh. So what options Pakistan has? What Pakistan can offer to the Middle East? Is Pakistan offering that in case there is a peace in Gaza, Pakistan can send its peace troopers, or Pakistan can offer security to the Arab countries better than United States of America? Is this option under consideration?
I think after the war with India, I think all these Arab countries they're definitely treating Pakistan differently.
Hmm.
Just today, when Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif was entering Saudi Arabia,
There was
the Saudi Air
extraordinary protocol, exactly.
Yes, the Saudi Air Force came to give respect, and the Saudi Air Force welcomed. And I think the Prime Minister, that was extraordinary. I haven't seen this
Hmm.
before. I remember when Prime Minister Modi went to Saudi Arabia last time in April when there was attack in Pahalgam. At that
Exactly.
time, he was welcomed in this way. So, in my understanding, I think the image within the Arab world, and particularly all these GCC countries, has changed a lot about Pakistan. They have understood
Mm,
that they didn't understand Pakistan's capability. They didn't understand that how we are going to to do this. So, in my assessment, I think what matters is that Pakistan is going to tell Saudi Arabia, we stand with you in every way. We stand with you in something where you need us. And remember, for Saudi Arabia, we have a special position, and that is that we will protect Saudi Arabia at every cost.
mm,
In although we have been saying that in case the Harman Sharif and they are in danger, and if the if or if the Medina Munawwara is in danger, so we are going to protect Saudi
mm,
Arabia. But coming to the defense of the Saudi Arabia, we don't have any kind of a defense agreement with Saudi Arabia. But
mm,
yes, we can protect and defend Saudi Arabia. We have that capability, and I think all
mm.
these Arab nations have understood very clearly we have that capability, and I think they have changed the lens towards looking Pakistan.
Do you think the way you have mentioned United Arab Emirates and certain other countries which have now opened its gates for the Israeli citizen, they are coming, doing business, keeping in view, as you have already said, that there is very weak possibility of creating anti-Israel alliance in the Middle East. But ultimately, the way these all meetings, and first time we have seen Saudi condemnation of Israeli attack on Qatar, then UAE also condemned, number of other countries also condemned this particular attack. But finally, do you think they will be able to forge some strong unity, some alliance, even not
I don't.
military?
There's
Yes.
there's no probability of that. On which lines they are going to go for this? For example, just look at the name of the summit. The name of the summit was, this is an Arab Islamic summit. It
Hmm.
was not an Islamic summit. It was not an OIC summit. So they want to keep their own identity as a superior. They want to give a message
Hmm.
to the world that look. So these are Arabs which are first, and Muslims come later. So I think, and I think that's where the many countries in the Muslim world will say, okay, yes, go and defend yourself if you want to keep your identity first, and that is your ethnic identity. You want to keep it first as
Hmm.
compared to your religious identity, but you are calling an Islamic summit. You're calling a religious countries on this platform, but at the same time, you are telling that yes, we matter more than you. So I think.
Hmm.
So we really want to see what they can do, but frankly speaking, uh, the Arab nations must look towards Pakistan. We consider them as brother countries. They have been helping in Pakistan's economic security. They have been helping in for the societal stability in this country. They have been helping us in every way, and we would love to defend the Arab nations in case they keep investing in Pakistan. They need to invest more in this country so that the more they invest here, the more India will not be an aggressor in Pakistan. So, and the more we will be in a position to defend our Arab nations and Arab brothers and sisters when they need us.
Dr. Cheema Saab, now we heard that United Nations General Assembly, which is set to begin on 23rd of September, although from 20th its session will formally begin, but with a speech by the United Nations Secretary General and US President, 23rd of September. So a resolution is going to be presented so that Palestine could be granted full membership. If UN General Assembly grants a resolution with the support of United Kingdom and France and several other countries, it will be adopted with overwhelming majority. What do you think? Then final decision has to be made by UN Security Council. So can such resolution after UN General Assembly, when it's make its passage to the UN Security Council, any possibility it could be vetoed?
Well, frankly speaking, let's see what they do. But in reality, what I understand, I think they need to recognize Palestine as a state, but let rest be left to the Security
Hmm.
Council. And I think that's a sort of a pressure that is coming from all these Western countries. And frankly, what I told you, that this is a sort of a compensation coming from all these liberal Western countries to
Hmm.
the Palestine, to tell, they want to tell to the world that look, we recognized Palestine. So, but I think it's been too late. They are unable to protect the very order they created. They are unable to defend the very norms, values, or the constitution or the legal narratives which they created. Now it depends how things will further establish. But recognizing Palestine will be a good gesture. But at the end of the day, obviously, the Security Council matters most.
Yes, in the Middle East, another important question is Iran. Recently, we have seen reports that the United States has again given hint at the regime change in Iran, and that communicated message to some of its friends and allies that this regime change scheme or plot may be executed. They have already failed in convincing some of the countries in the region in getting the support for regime change. What do you think? So at this moment, is there is such any such possibility that regime in Iran could be changed through United States of America? But if there is no ground support available from whatever is happening now in Arab and Muslim world, then what do you think about this uphill task?
Well, I think regarding this regime change in Iran, I think that's not one of the options anybody is looking.
Mm,
Uh, and it's very difficult. We have seen uh, the Iranian nation is strong. Secondly, Iran is big country.
mm,
Third, they don't have any internal support. Fourth, the Ayatollah and the concept of the Walayat Faqih is still relevant in Iran.
mm,
Uh, and in my assessment, this regime change processes anywhere in the Middle East, they have backfired, be it
mm,
Libya or Syria or other countries, even in Egypt. So Iran is going to stay and survive. All what matters is that this concept of sovereignty, nations
mm.
must be respected, and their constitutions and the will of the people must be respected. Gone are the days when we can say that you can change or you can change the regimes. I think, and in the last decade, we have seen it was all mess in the Middle East.
So there was again some reports according to these reports, Iran had some talks with International Atomic Energy Agency. How you see this resumption of this talks between Iran and International Atomic Energy Agency? Number one, and number two, do you fear in future another possible attack from Israel again on Iranian nuclear facilities?
Well, I think I don't find that any kind of a conversation with Iran and the IEA is going to be beneficial for Iran. Iran have been talking and engaging with them when they were attacked. So that
Hmm.
is one thing. The second thing is that what IEA can do. The IEA just cannot even stop any country. The IEA just
Hmm.
what the Americans
Just a
attacked Iran.
watchdog. It is just a watchdog and nothing else.
Yes. So I think if the countries are following the international law, they're engaging with the institutions, and still if they're being attacked, what to get out of all that? So
Hmm.
in my assessment, the all these countries they must understand that when you disrespect institutions, nothing is going to happen. So Iran can talk with IEA, there will be no result, but at the same time, I think targeting Iran is may not be an option because the Israelis have eliminated the proxies of Iran. Israelis have brought change in Syria. In Lebanon, things are not as in the favor of Iran. The Houthis are not that much in power.
Hmm.
Iraq is not in a position to support Iran the way Iran wanted. So Iran is definitely isolated in the region and is working at home how to come back to hit Israel. And I think this is the moment of Israel, not of Iran.
Now, 80th anniversary of United Nations is being observed in this month, and the 80th session would be commencing soon. How you see United Nations at this extraordinary moment? 80 years. Do you think over last 80 years it's a long time? United Nations, which is an intergovernmental body, so, do you think this body has been able to provide peace, equality, justice, resolution of conflicts? There are a lot of question marks on it, particularly as President Xi, in his In his speech at Shanghai Cooperation Organization on 1st of September, he hinted at reforms in global governance, and he floated an idea of this global governance initiative. That is a clear signal that the Western led this system has failed to meet the expectations of the people.
Well, frankly speaking, I think China is an important player of the international system, but it's a reluctant power. And
Reluctant power.
on the
Hmm.
Yeah, and on the contrary, the Western world and the Western countries, they are dominating international system. They have come up with the worldview for the world. Either it is running the international law, either the ideas or themes like WTO or
Hmm.
globalization. I think they are doing a lot. They are doing a lot, and they have done a lot in this context. But the United Nations is a great platform. It's a great platform, and it can bring countries together, but it needs to
And
do
will
more
continue to
for
hold
the
debates
global south.
only, no action.
and
Hmm.
and I think it needs to empower more to the global south. That is what is necessary. Iran is a country. Sorry, the UN is a platform which needs to empower other countries, and I do believe that this institutional order or this
Hmm.
institutional hegemony is facing an institutional response from countries like China and Russia in shape of BRICS and SCO. But I
Hmm.
think they're too slow, they're too reluctant to bring any change at the moment, and they can't offer much to all these countries, even if they come up with an alternate platform.
But veto power has already created more problems. What do you think?
It
Apart,
depends if the Russians and the Chinese come out of the UN Security Council, and they try to establish a new international order. They want to establish a new global order.
hmm.
Remember what this will be the value of this veto power.
Hmm.
So it all depends that if
That
this
is
the
possible.
institution,
It could happen.
everything is possible. Everything is possible in international system. Remember, if the institutional hegemony created by the West, if it faces an institutional response from the rest of the world or from the global south, the
Hmm.
West will be in a difficult situation. So I think that is where they need to empower, and that is where there is a discussion to enhance the UN Security Council, the number of countries like India, Japan, Germany, Brazil, even
Hmm.
Africa. So I think
Hmm.
how the West will share this power and how all these non-Western countries will react. I think that matters.
Last one sentence. After 10th May, Markai Haq, as you mentioned, the entire Arab world looking at Pakistan, how you see Pakistan's role, very crisp, short and to the point, in global peace, in security, in resolving conflict. Pakistan has been forefront of these all particularly issues and all conflict, trying to resolve it. How you see Pakistan's role?
Well, I think Pakistan's role is very important. First, we are capable enough to defend our country. Secondly, we are capable enough to bring peace in the region. Third, we have established parity in the region. Fourth, we don't let other countries to establish hegemony in the region. Fifth, we have told the other countries that we are in a position to restore deterrence here. And I think our position is very much clear. Our position is that we are the one who love peace, but we are the one who are capable of protecting ourselves. And at the same time, I think we are balancing our relations with the United States and China. And I think that is one of the most fundamental thing in our foreign policy. And somehow our institutions, they're working day and night. Our political class is trying to make American and Chinese the true great superpowers. Uh, and we have the confidence of both the leadership of both the countries.
One quick
And I think
sentence about this expected meeting between Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and US President Trump on the sidelines of the United Nations. If it happens, what do you suggest? What Pakistan could raise with the US President? What Pakistan could share with the US President?
well, I think first of all, I think the Americans will say thank you to Pakistan, and I think that's
Thank you
what
to
the Trump.
Pakistan. Hmm.
Yes, if you remember, the first sentence about the President Trump took about Pakistan. The first sentence he mentioned was "Thank you, Pakistan." And I think the CENTCOM chief or the defense minister secretary, they have
Exactly.
been saying this. Secondly, they know that we have a strong leadership, we have a strong defense, strong army. The president has
And a
been
very
mentioning
strong
that
army chief, exactly.
the army chief. That's what I'm referring to. So I think the president will definitely refer that this nation, they brought down 6 Indian jets, which the Trump has been mentioning. So he knows that this country is capable enough, this country is powerful enough, and so I think he will look Pakistan from a position of strength and position of power, and I think that's what we need at the moment from Washington.
Thank you so much indeed, Professor Dr. Qamar Cheema Saab, for strategically highlighting some of the very important strategic developments taking place in the Middle East. Despite your very busy schedule, you shared time and participated in our program and scholastically highlighted some of the issues which would be extremely beneficial for our viewers, our dear viewers. Till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.